Hi there, welcome to Dave in the Shed. I'm Dave and this is my little corner of the world, also known as the Shed Mahal. Now if you're into DIY, 3D printing and model trains, you've come to the right place. Now fair warning, I do things a little bit differently. I have cerebral palsy, which means sometimes things get a little bit creative around here, but hey, it just makes it more fun. So if you like making, fixing, and maybe even breaking things along the way, stick around. Hit that subscribe button and let's build something awesome together.
Down in the shed where the magic begins, Dave's got his tools, let the fun commence. 3D printing dreams, watch him come alive. With every little gadget, man, he starts to thrive. Blueprints in hand, technology so keen, building up the future like a crafty machine. Model trains rolling on a whimsical track. In this shed of wonder, there's no time to slack. Oh, Dave in the shed where the vibes stay high. Creating with passion, he's reaching for the sky. DIY master in a vibrant samba flow. Hope you enjoyed the video, let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go.
Well, hello there. It's Tuesday, just after lunchtime, when I'm recording this. This week, I think the week's going to get away from me, so I've started filming on Tuesday. Now, there's been a couple of things been bugging me over the weekend since the last video. It has been the positioning of the signalling. Ever since the layout, the town area became a return loop, the signals, or some of them have been in the wrong place. So I have literally taken the layout with a plunge saw, and I have repositioned the signals that were annoying me. Where this little building is currently sitting on a big hole in the layout, because that is where the home signal used to be. And over where that white tape is to be repaired is where a landmark signal used to be. Now, we'll go for a wander around. My layout has two types of signalling. It's got what they call home signals, the little semaphores that I spend a lot of hours working and getting to work, go up and down. And this type of signal here, which is called a landmark signal, which in New South Wales is a fixed caution. So you come up to one of these signals and it means caution from here on in and prepare to stop. So this one here, the landmark, was facing the opposite way on the upper line. It's now facing here. So when you come off the town area, you swing around here, it's about the best position for it to be due to clearance and that. So you now have that tree might have to go. The ways and work guys mightn't be happy about that blocking, but there you go. You now have, if you're heading into up the hill area, a fixed caution signal. And over here, what was over there is the home signal for entering into the block, which is now there. Now, I took to the layout with the multi-tool, the plunge saw, and it shook everything to bits, including the fencing. Now we've got to redo the fencing around the substation because it shook it to bits. The fencing all collapsed and died. Oh, look, that's quite bizarre. So I've got to redo some fencing. It's really good security. So that signal is now there. I should have to do a diagram, but I won't explain it because it'll just show me how the signaling works. So to enter the town block, you need this signal to clear to give you permission. To also enter the town block on the other line, there is a signal over there which needs to clear to give you permission. When leaving the town block, you leave under caution. There's a caution over there, a fixed landmark, and there's a caution here before heading up into the new section. So all this section is protected by those signals. Yes, that signal should not really be, it should be further around the layout, but that's the easiest place to put it, as in access to the layouts and bits and pieces. So yeah, it just has to go there. It probably could come around here, but then that would mean cutting up this, and there's the old joint there, and there's all sorts of issues with putting that signal there, which really in theory it should be. So anyway, it's further around the block, but it's more for play value, for fun. Anyway, there is some big news. We'll walk up here. There is some big news. I have made the temporary shelf for the power supply and bits and pieces over here we talked about last video. Look at that. I've even put some facing around it and I've painted it. This is now a permanent part of the layout, this shelf here. The reason is, umming and ahhing over the weekend and doing some bits and pieces. Yesterday or Monday I spent some serious money. I have ordered, and hopefully you'll see it later in this video, a DCC booster, which will go in here and will power all the top of the layout. I have physically this morning, I have gone through and I have cut, electrically isolated, and so there's two cuts in the track here, seeing the best way. So the top half of the layout and the bottom half of the layout are now electrically isolated by those two cuts that also work as an expansion joint. So the layout is electrically split in two. As part of this, I had to then fix a few droppers. There was a dropper down here that I had put in at some stage and never soldered onto the DCC bus, so that was rather interesting. So I had to do a bit of underneath there and repower the section. But all that means is from this point here down the layout, and I'll do a drawing on the board later to show you. So down all the layout will be off the old DigiKeys DCC, and all the top section, when it arrives, will be a Cobalt DCC booster and will power all the top part of the layout. So hopefully it'll arrive before the end of the video. It's on its way. Since I was dropping big coin on a device like that, I also had the stupid express post. Anyway, we'll laugh about that. It may come, it may not in the time. I also bought, because I was dropping coins, some other bits and pieces, I bought another servo controller. It was not cheap, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the layout, the servo controllers as well. And we'll talk about that more, but there's new servos coming, a servo controller, DCC accessories controller that controls servos, and more point controllers. All explained as we wire it in. But what it means is these servos that run down here, these little controllers that control the gates and all that, are going. And I'll explain more what I'm going to do. I suddenly had a revelation the other day that and this was based on the maximum apparently you can run your control wires for the little servos is apparently 2 meters. I was trying to work out how I would all these gates and get everything run. Suddenly realised got to be quick, my battery's going to run out. That's interesting. So microphone battery. So this is the servo controller up here. It's a 4-channel servo controller, and we have 4 servos on this end of the layout which have to run. Yeah, so the gates and the semaphores in this section of the layout will run off this one, and these semaphores here and up here, as well as the gates, will then have a semaphore controller in here. I'll do a drawing. I'll do a drawing and explain it via my whiteboard. But anyway, it's going to be an interesting week. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but there's interesting stuff coming. We shall talk about that later, all going well. Well, welcome to Friday, early Friday afternoon for the last part of this week's video. Unfortunately, my run with Australia Post, getting things posted and getting delivered in a timely manner, has of course, pushed my luck too far. So half the stuff that was meant to be here for this week isn't. It is still on the other side of the country. It's been waiting in Perth for 4 days. Anyway, so what I've done is, this is the DCC Concepts Cobalt Alpha. It is a DCC booster. And as I spoke about earlier, I'll do a diagram when I get everything up and running and show the layout is now in 2 halves. It is electrically and mechanically isolated just here. So the Digi Central, the DCC output, track output of the Digi Central feeds the lower half of the track, and all this upper part of the track is fed DCC from the digital, fed DCC from the booster. There is a line here, this line here doesn't really matter. It comes from the other DCC, so the DCC commands are then copied over, boosted and put the track. Anyway, it's quite an interesting system. Now, what I've also acquired off Fleabay was a good old, by Lens, which is good old technology, which is a switch controller, which is an old school one. Let me just grab me a remote while we're talking this so I can show you. It's an old school remote, and it actually runs the old servo points really good. So it works really fine. So I will be still using the old transformer to give me my 16 volt AC auxiliary supply to fire off points. And this now allows us to throw, don't know if you can see that. Let's do 101. Nope, 101, using the hand with the camera in it. So I can operate those points from the handheld controller, and I can also operate them, you can hear them anyway, with the panel using the Lens design. Now this one is actually, it has given me future proof because it has 6 points that it can throw. Now, this is halfway through the upgrade because there's some more devices coming. There's some buzz bars coming to tidy up the wiring, and also there's another controller which will allow me to control the semaphore points, because the semaphore signals, because there are signals on this area of the layout, and the gates will also go on to the Magic DCC control when the Magic unit runs. I've also ordered one that also runs off the AC supply as well. So instead of leeching off the DCC supply, the U unit will also run off that AC power supply. So the actual mechanics to throw the points and all that are running off the separate supply controlled by DCC, as opposed to the other ones that they're all nice in the buildings now. All the little control panels are hidden in the buildings. Did I show you that? Probably did. So these are over here, these DCC concept units, they get their supply from the DCC power bus. So it leaches some of your DCC power, which we were having hassles with. Now, it has somewhat improved. These points far easier to throw, recover a lot better because they're being powered. They're still powered by the DCC concepts. So yeah, even though I've used them in places, I'm not going to do that anymore. I will, as far as possible, put in units that run off the separate AC supply, not so much ones that leach off the DCC supply. If that makes no sense, let me know and I can clear it up in the comments. Anyway, that's where we're at. So this is like a halfway video. I expected to have a lot more done, but alas, the Australian Post system has failed me. Although I did get the booster from Melbourne when I ordered it on, I sat down on Monday, ordered all the stuff that I needed. This did arrive within 3 days. I did actually pay an extra bit for Express Post. The booster did arrive in 3 days. The stuff that is coming from, because I've also almost raided also like so many different suppliers around the country to get what I wanted, because a lot of DCC stuff is hard to get at the moment. Don't know why. And maybe because it's the hassle with DCC concepts and they were the most popular stuff. And then there's the problem with the business going to administration, being bought and refunded. There is stuff to that. It's quite interesting that two of my favourite suppliers, DigiKeys, went into liquidation. Somebody bought them out. Their stuff is, once again, a little bit hen's teethy. DCC Concept like their stuff, fair enough. They're now not called DCC Concepts. They've got a new name. DCC, anyway, if you follow the socials, you know. Anyway, so we're halfway through the rebuild. So far, very impressed. Why I didn't do this ages ago? Well, I wasn't planning to put in points and bits and pieces and do all this automation, but now, yes, I can. And the next step, we then might look at, Dave, don't say it. We might look at JMRI to do some fancy stuff to control some of the aspects via the computer. But anyway, we got the facilities to do some of it now. But I'm really impressed that I got this off Fleabay really cheaply. And being an old school one that runs off that AC, the separate power supply doesn't leach off your DCC apart from getting the DCC controls. That's brilliant. Because you look how well those points flicker now. Whew. Wings. I've got a funny feeling that the DCC Concepts, the new school type stuff, is designed for the new point motors and not really designed for the old. That's my theory. Not really designed for the old solid. But anyway, that's it for this week. Next week, hopefully, we'll have more upgrades done and finished and be showing you where we're up to. But till then, look after yourselves. Take care. Don't forget, get out your shed. Do something you wouldn't normally do. Because in the words of Henry Ford, you don't know what you can do or what you can't do till you try. And if you want any more information, let me know. Text, message me, put a comment in, and I'll explain more. Yes, it's a bit of a mess job that you're looking at, but it will be neater when all my bits arrive. I promise. I promise it'll look better, a little bit more professional. But anyway, that's where I'm up to. Catch you later. Boy.